Hey guys, I'm Eric.
And I'm Grace. We're the Wandering Ravens.
We're a couple of Americans on a quest to learn everything we can about British culture.
What? Is that a quest?
This YouTube channel records our British journey, so if that sounds like the sort of thing that you would be interested in, make sure you subscribe to this channel and ding the notification bell for fresh and disappointing content 2 times a week.
We've been making British culture videos for over a year now, and during this time, we've heard whispers of this thing called the North-South divide.
Recently, these whispers have gotten a lot louder, especially in the comment sections of our videos, Americans React to British Accents. If you haven't seen that series, make sure you watch it. Here's the link. They're really fun. But suffice it to say that our curiosity about this North-South divide has been piqued, and so we've decided to dive into this topic and see what there is to see. Let's start by sharing what we know so far. So, North-South divide, what do you know?
Initially, just from what I've heard, I think the opinion from many Northerners or people who are not in the South is that Southerners are a little bit posh, more tough. And what I've heard from people who have lived in both places is that Northerners are very friendly.
Yeah, all the stereotypes about English people being cold and stiff upper lipped and not talking to strangers on public transportation. Whenever we talk about that, we always get comments saying, "You're talking about London, it's not that way in the North." So that's what we know about the North-South divide. And also, before we get into the reactions, I think we should draw the border where we guess the border should go. You know, just to make sure that we offend everyone right from the get-go. No pressure.
All right, let's see. I met a guy from Birmingham once, and he said that he would say he was in the Midlands.
That's another thing, is where do the Midlands fit in this whole North-South thing?
All right, you know what? We're gonna draw an awkward line. We're gonna draw an awkward line that goes like this. Whoa. Can I undo this?
Okay, let's start over. Okay, go.
All right, let's just go for it. All right, there we go.
So would you say the Midlands are just part of the North then, like they're the same package, or are they their own separate thing?
We're gonna go with their own separate thing, because of this one random dude I met from Birmingham once. Where's the northern border? Oh man, this is gonna hurt so many people. I'm sorry. We're gonna say that it cuts off right below Wolverhampton, and that Birmingham is in the Midlands, and that Leicester is in the Midlands. All right, and this Grantham. All right, you can be in the Midlands too, Grantham. There we go.
All right, there it is.
Oh dear. Oh dear Lord, what have I done?
My turn. If you say that English people are unfriendly, they'll say in the North, they're friendly. In London, they're not friendly. So I think a lot of people think about it like this. So this is the South, and everything outside of it is the North. Just joking. Sorry, taking the piss. Basically, I do the same thing you did. So I would put the Midlands about here. Above it would be the North, and everything below it would be the South.
Now that you kind of know the extent of our knowledge on this issue, North versus South, let's kick off the educational part by reading through some informative comments. We made a YouTube community post asking our subscribers about the North versus South divide, and we're just gonna go over some of the responses with you. From Thomas, we have, the North is north of the Midlands, the South is south of the Midlands, the East is east of the Midlands, and the west of the Midlands is Wales. The real question is, where are the Midlands? No, seriously, only the people who claim to live in them even think they exist.
I feel like we've seen this on comments before, people making jokes about the existence of the Midlands. Not really sure what the joke there is. So if you can explain to us why people like joking about the existence of the Midlands, do let us know down in the comments. There's no line like your Mason-Dixon line, but maybe I can explain it like this. For those of you who don't know, the Mason-Dixon line is a very linear line around certain states in the United States that separates the North from the South. Grab a map of England and draw a line in ink between, say, the Wash and just north of Birmingham. I'm not sure what the Wash is.
What is the Wash?
Before the ink dries, put the heel of your hand on it and smudge it upwards. The less ink there is, the more northern you are. And even that's approximate. Okay, so he's insinuating that it's very difficult to know where the border is.
It's not a geographic definition, it's a state of mind.
Ooh.
One easy test, give someone an avocado. If they try to bite into it, they're northern. If they ask what it is, they're Scottish.
Well, there's a test. apparently if they turned it into smashed avocado toast, they're in the South. Although we did have smashed avocado toast in the Midlands. Maximus has some words of warning. You should have picked a less controversial subject, like Brexit or pineapple on pizza. Is pineapple on pizza a controversial topic that transcends the pond?
Pineapple on pizza, very controversial for us Yanks.
Is that something you guys kill each other over too?
Whatever north-south divide you settle on, it will be wrong. Aww.
Shoot.
Nobody can agree on what it actually means, let alone where it is. It certainly isn't a set geographical border. It's a state of mind, a belief system, and a political concept. The idea of a north-south divide is centuries old, but what it is and where it is depends on where you live, what your socioeconomic background is, and what aspect of the nation you are discussing.
So you guys left over 500 comments on this post. We've read through most of them, and at this point it seems like there is actually a pretty strong consensus over what the north-south divide is. Most people seem to be agreeing that it has to do with an emphasis on government spending in the South over the North, as well as a difference in industry between the North and the South. They have different definitions for the words dinner and tea, and also in the North, like we said at the beginning of the video, our suspicions have been confirmed. People seem to be friendlier than they are in the South, in public and with strangers and stuff like that. So that surprised me. I wasn't expecting this much consensus. There's not really a lot of dissenting opinions there. But where there is a huge dissenting opinion is people cannot seem to agree on where the north-south border is. To resolve that issue, a lot of people are recommending a video by a YouTuber called Jay Foreman, and people are telling us that he settles the question of where the north-south border is.
This should be good. I'm glad we're gonna get it settled once and for all.
Something tells me there's a little bit of English sarcasm in these comments. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Real quick, if you would like to get more Wandering Ravens in your life, consider joining our Patreon. We post 3 additional videos every week on our Patreon. These videos are a little bit more intimate and feature a lot more personal content from us. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, go down to the description, click the Patreon link, and we will see you over there.
And speaking of Patreon, a huge thank you to our chuffed virtuosos, Andrew McKendry and Will Potter. We couldn't have made this video without you, and we appreciate you.
Am I a northerner or a southerner?
That's easy. How do you pronounce this word?
Biv.
Welcome to Map Men. We're the men.
And here's the MIP.
Real quick, question for you guys. He said Bith there over the pronunciation of Bath. I don't really get that joke. I'm guessing it has something to do with the pronunciation of how in the North and the South, maybe they say the ahs differently.
Ah.
But I'm confused, so if you know what the joke is, let us know.
So where exactly is the line? We'll now attempt to draw it.
Okay. From top to bottom, England is 423 miles long, and the halfway point is in the Foundry Shopping Centre in Scunthorpe, which is here.
But that would give the South a population 6 times bigger than the North. And it would put Sheffield in the South. And that just doesn't feel right. No, that just doesn't feel right, no.
I had a feeling Sheffield was in the north. When I drew
that
my
what you
line,
did?
I saw it and I was like, Sheffield. That can't be in the south.
Let's see where the great British public feel it is.
Well, our results were pretty inconclusive. Londoners drew the line immediately north of Watford,
Geordies drew the line immediately south of Sunderland.
and people from Birmingham kept insisting there's a place called the Midlands.
So people are idiots.
like the guy that I met. He was from Birmingham too.
So again, why the joke about the existence of the Midlands?
What's noteworthy is that the line goes up at an angle, which puts Leicester, which is further north than Coventry, in the south, and Coventry, which is further south than Leicester, in the north, and vice versa.
I was expecting the north-south border thing to be a lot more defined, but that's just coming from the States. In the States, like we said, it's a literal borderline. Everyone knows where the north-south borderline is. I was kind of expecting that to be the same situation in England, so it's a bit surprising that it's up for this much debate. I'm curious, is it actually up for this much debate?
You know what we should do?
What?
We should ask our subscribers to put the line on the map for us.
Oh, that's actually a really good idea.
2,000 years later.
Good news! We have had a ton of you guys respond to our request for border drawings over the last couple of hours, and so here are some of those. As you can see, the responses were extremely varied. Nonetheless, we did notice a few trends.
First up, recognition of the Midlands. So from what we've been able to gather, people from Sheffield and Manchester seem to acknowledge the existence of the Midlands, as well as those who reside in the Midlands. They're also pro-Midlands. And in the camp of Midland deniers, we have people from the far north, Cumbria and Northumberland, as well as some people in the south who seem to agree that there are no Midlands.
For people who don't recognize the existence of the Midlands, it seems like the border tends to go through Birmingham, either right above Birmingham or right below Birmingham. But when people do recognize the Midlands and include that in their drawings, Sheffield marks the end of the north, start of the Midlands, and Northampton signals the start of the south and the end of the Midlands. So between Sheffield and Northampton, Midlands. At least that is the trend that we noticed. Another interesting thing that we noticed was how a lot of people seem to distinguish East and West Midlands. So question for you, is there a distinct culture between East and West Midlands? What is the divide there? To everyone who took the time to create these border drawings for us and email those in, thank you so much. You gave us a lot of insight into this issue and we really appreciate your help. Question for you guys. Obviously this video is only a skin deep look into the North-South divide. We've gone from knowing nothing to knowing a little bit more, but we definitely have a lot more learning to do. This channel is a learning adventure. You guys are along for the ride. So if you have any more observations or things that you think we should know about this whole issue, please drop those down in the comments below. Again, I'm Eric.
I'm Grace.
We're the Wandering Ravens.
And we will see you in the next video. Bisous!